Welcome to another episode of Voices. Granville County Schools is excited to share its activities, actions, and accolades through the voices of our students, teachers, administrators, parents, and community. Let's get started. Thank you for listening to the Granville County Public Schools podcasting series, Voices. My name is Madison Lavrack, and I'm one of today's show hosts. Our episode today will continue a series that we started recently on artificial intelligence, often referred to as AI. The conversation today will focus on what business and industry is doing to transform their work and what schools can do to prepare students for careers that will be using AI in their operation. We also have Maggie Lynch, who will be with us today, co-hosting. Hi, Dr. Gerard. Today, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you got involved with AI. Also, how do you help your business grow and do well using AI?
I'm Dr. Scott Gerard, and I'm running my own consulting firm right now called Knowledge Reactor .ai. And I've done a number of different projects with it. Probably one of the more interesting was I worked on the Watson project for commercializing artificial intelligence. And my favorite was we did some stuff with eldercare. So everything from screwing sensors into elders' homes to analyzing the data feeds that come off of it to understand what's going on in their lives. There's just a lot of uses for AI.
What specific AI skills and knowledge should be prioritized in schools that will help students be prepared for future careers? This could include topics of machine learning, data analysis, programming, ethics, or AI, etc.
There is a lot of stuff that's important. The one thing I guess I would like to say up front is a lot of people think that AI means nothing other than like ChatGPT or these large language models. That is certainly a part of AI, but there is so much other parts of AI that aren't really getting played in the press right now that a lot of people think that that's all that AI is, but it's way, way more than that. And there's so many other capabilities that are possible. It's just that the large language models are the ones getting all the press these days.
So, do you have any examples when it comes to that?
Yeah, one of my favorite is artificial intelligence of things. This is Internet of Things, IoT. This is where you put devices in your home or your business or the manufacturing floor, but you can also access the data in real time and adjust them, see what's going on. So AIoT is a very large thing that's going to be used a lot in the future. It's not getting a lot of press right now for the same reasons. Andrew Ng has a really great slide that I like, and it shows a picture of the number of generative AI applications that he foresees happening now, which is a small circle, maybe the size of a quarter. And then he predicts out, 3 years or so, and it's, maybe twice that size. But when you look at just, I hate to even use this term now, but it's traditional AI, there's a thing called supervised learning. It is 10 times, 20 times the size of the generative AI thing. So many models are just using supervised learning these days. Nobody's really talking about that, and they don't think it's, quote, AI, but it is. And it's been AI. AI's been around for almost 70 years. So there's a whole lot of work that's gone into it. Image detection of people in images, that's a different kind of thing. Lots and lots of applications.
Wow, that's really cool. A lot of that stuff I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
people do. They just kind of think that AI just means these large language models,
Mhm.
but that's just one small piece of.
Schools can foster the development of human skills that will complement with AI. Do you think that skills like critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and things like communication will be crucial?
I absolutely do. When we were doing our elder care thing, our goal was to use AI to reduce the burden of the human caregivers. I feel really sorry for them. They don't get paid much money and they do a lot of work that a lot of us wouldn't want to do. But their role in keeping the elders socialized and active and engaged is so important. Someone once asked me to write an AI program to talk with an elder and keep them engaged. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's a really hard problem because they're going to go, I'm just talking to a machine. But if I'm talking to a human, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
Um, the human elements around AI are just very, very important. Critical thinking, generative AI and the large language models really aren't that good at it. The best estimates, there's a leaderboard for who has the fewest hallucinations, which models. And right now, the winners are kind of 2.5%. So one out of every um, would be 25, one out of every 40 questions is going to have hallucinations in it. Well, that's pretty big. And that's only if your application is doing what they're measuring. If you're doing something very different, who knows what the hallucination rate is? So I'm not sure I would really, sign up to use large language models to do a lot of critical thinking. They are pretty good at the creativity elements. I think that's one place they excel. But as you said in the last episode, when you submit something that came from a large language models, you personally are responsible for what that said. You personally must read through what it came up with and say, I agree with that. Or I don't like this. I'm going to strike it. When I use it, I'll ask it, give me 10 things about a particular topic, and I'll read through 3 or 4 of them and go, yeah, I could have come up with that. I could have come up with that. Oh, I didn't think about that one. That's a really interesting idea. But then the next one is like, that's just wrong. I'm not using that. So the human skills are important for all kinds of reasons to keep the large language models in bounds and not over hallucinating anyway.
How can schools partner with businesses and industry to align curriculum with workforce needs, such as internships, guest lectures, joint research projects, etc.?
I think there's a lot of ways that could happen. A lot of businesses run internships during the summer. I think that's valuable. It's valuable for the businesses because they're bringing in, quote, fresh blood, people that just look at things differently. And that's good. Even if it's wrong, it's good that it's different, right? And then, of course, it's also good for the students because they're learning more about what business really needs. It's really hard to say these are the 3 technical areas that you really need to focus on because things are changing very quickly.
So, when it comes to educational programs, what role should ethics and responsible AI development play? And how do you think we can make sure students understand societal implications of AI?
Wow, great question. Elon Musk and 1,300 scientists said we need to do a 6-month moratorium on these large language models because we don't understand what's really going on and bad things could happen. I do agree with the thrust of his statement that, we need to do better at what I call trustworthy AI, which includes reliability, privacy, ethics, fairness, bias, governance. There's a whole raft of things that need to be focused on that the industry really isn't addressing appropriately, addressing sufficiently. We need to teach our students more about those topics. Um, Teaching ethics is, I think, particularly slippery for people like me who like technology. It's like, I need some formulas and I need some rules. And I don't think ethics works that way at all. It's one of the areas that I personally am challenged by. But we need to be able to not just continue to push another 1/10% accuracy on all these different models. We really need to understand what's going on. And I think that's primarily a matter of having discussions with a wide range of people to say, well, how does it affect women? How does it affect people of color? What about older people? What about people who have other interests? What's going to happen in these technologies? And the technologists will go, gee, we need to come up with some ideas for that. So those are really important topics that need to be addressed. And the sooner we begin to teach students about that, the better off we'll be.
I agree. I agree with that. Um, what infrastructure or resources do schools need to effectively teach AI? It could be from data sets, computing power, software, tools, qualified instructors. Like, how do you think? we should educate our students?
Well, AI literacy is a huge topic that I think needs to be addressed. A lot of people are just talking based on their understanding of what is in the news or whatever. I would encourage everybody, students, teachers, parents, every administrators, everybody, to play with these large language models. Get a feeling for yourself about what it does and what it doesn't do. Um, you know, if you're a parent, have it write a story for your child. My daughter, likes butterflies and wants to play in the park or what. Have the LLM write a story about that. That will give you some indication of what it might be able to do for you, and it will make it less scary to you. From the student point of view, Bob's going to save the world from something or other else. Have it write a story about that. If that's the only thing you can think of, that's making progress. I think because it is so pervasive, we all need to have some understanding of what it does. It doesn't need to be, I understand the mathematics behind it. There are some of us that need to know that, but most people don't. So I just think everybody needs to get some familiarity with it. And the other thing I would say is if you're a student, they often say, follow your passion. Okay, great. If you've got a passion to learn artificial intelligence, then pick some project. It doesn't matter what the project is, but work on the project to understand it. A lot of people would say you need to spend 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. That's basically 40 hours a week for 5 years. As a student, when I was a student, that would have seemed like forever. It isn't. Time goes by more quickly than you think. But it isn't the project that's the goal of this. The goal is to learn how to do the projects. The project could be, crazy and simple and stupid, and you'll throw it away in 3 months, whatever. But learning how to code it, if the coding is what you want to do, that's a good way to do it. But that also is applies to art students, to music students, to literature students. If you want to do something, do it. I would say, when I grew up, we didn't have social media. And in 10 years, no one's going to remember who had the most followers. I would kind of just downplay the social media, spend that time working on your project, developing your skills. And some of that could be done through a classroom exercise, but I think a lot of it's going to have to be done on your own. But at the end of multiple projects, you will be a whole lot smarter and understand what your next step is going to be.
Do you have any advice or suggestions or anything for schools just to help us to be able to prepare and everything as AI is growing and everything in the future?
Well, the general literacy, I think, is really important. Um, I would also say, some people are probably thinking, I'm either going to be an AI guy or gal, or I'm not. I think that's too narrow. There are a lot of careers adjacent to the hardcore AI guys. There are visualization people. This is, you know, being able to creatively show the results of these models. That's a skill that isn't one of my strengths. I need visualization people. There's a lot of graphic design and that kind of stuff involved in it. There are operations folks. I didn't build the model, but I keep the model running. When it goes down, I know how to fix it. That's also kind of an adjacent space. You're all dealing with AI to some degree. Even managers need to know how to manage AI projects. So you're not an AI person, but you're involved with AI. I think a lot of skills in the future will be adjacent to AI in one form or another.
Anything else you would like to say?
Dr. Gerard, I'd like to ask you a question. Um, I know that you're a consultant for businesses. So what kind of advice do you give businesses? What do you help them with to get them to use AI to help make them more successful in the business world?
I think a lot of business executives need the AI literacy as much as everybody else does. They know that AI is coming. They know that it's supposed to be transformative. They know that they need to get on board or they're going to go out of business. But I think a lot of them don't really understand what their options are. And I think literacy for even the executives and some of the technical teams is really important. So we need to get them up to speed. And they all seem to want generative AI right now. But like I said, there's so many other kinds of artificial intelligence that may be more appropriate for their business than generative AI. If you're not dealing with text, a large language model isn't going to help you a lot. And there isn't a lot of text on the manufacturing floor. I mean, yeah, there's some, but a lot of it is just sensor data from machines on the floor running stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to help them understand, what is driving you to do this. Don't tell me you need it for marketing. Tell me what problem is keeping you up at night, regardless of AI, and let's see if AI can help that.
So you're looking to use it for problem solving.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I like to say, start with the end in mind. What problem do you want to solve that actually will advance your business?
Okay.
Do you think AI will get like better or more improved near future to like help other situations?
Oh, I definitely think it's going to improve. A lot of people think that we're on the cusp of AGI, artificial general intelligence. And that is software that is so smart and so intelligent, it's at the same level of human intelligence or more. There's a lot of debate in the industry about whether that's true or not. Some people think we are. I'm in the opinion that no, we're not. In fact, the thing that made these large language models even possible, well, the most recent one is a paper called Attention is All You Need. There's an attention mechanism. It's a very technical thing inside the LLMs that allow it to do what it does. That's super critical, but it's not enough. And I've heard some people say that what we need is, metaphorically, 5 more Einsteins to come up with 5 more fundamental improvements before we'll even ever get there. Because I don't think general AI or AGI is in the cards right now. I mean, we were talking earlier, if I feel like I'm going to throw up, there's that feeling that you have in your stomach. Where is that described in text sufficiently that a large language model can actually understand what it means like to feel like you're going to throw up? I don't think we're close to AGI at this point. There's a lot of advancements that will have to come. They will come, and the younger generations will live with much more of that than I will. But it's exciting times, but there are potential problems. So never forget LLMs hallucinate. Never, ever forget that.
Okay.
Thank you for that advice. That definitely really helps. Anything else? Any other comments or anything? Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Voices. We would love to hear from you. You can find information on our district websites and social media pages. Fill out the Voices Podcast Google form to see your ideas come to life in the next episode.